do the introductions at the very end. We will have allow a minute. We have several potential school board candidates, and we're going to allow them a minute to introduce themselves, say for which district they're running. The other thing is that I'm going to play Sergeant at Arms. I've already warned you blue people, but when it comes time for questions, because we are in a limited time frame, and I know that many of you we're an impassioned group, so a lot of times we want to make a point as well as ask that question. But I am going to red flag it, and it has to be a question. So just to give you fair warning. The introductions. Joel McDonald was elected to school board in 2012, and he was re-elected in 2016. He's currently serving as a school board vice chair. Prior to joining the board, he was a data support specialist at Lexford Elementary from 2006 to 2012, where he also served as the school improvement specialist coordinator for a time. While at Lexford, he was an active member of the school's PTSA, serving as its treasurer, the school building's representative for Virginia Beach Education Association, and he was recognized by the Gay Straight Alliance of Bayside High School with their 2013-14 Equality Award for valuable actions, support, determination, and advocacy and acceptance. In 2014, he received the Virginia Beach Education Association Friend of Education Award for outstanding service and commitment to students and teachers of Virginia Beach. Joel is a second-generation alumni of Bayside High School and was among the first students to attend the Virginia Beach Advanced Technology Center, where he completed the Cisco Networking Academy. He attended ODU, where he earned a Bachelor of Science in Political Science. Professionally, he provides web design, development, and hosting through his firm, McDonald WebWorks. Carolyn Weems was elected to the school board in May 2002, re-elected in May 2006 as an at-large member. On December 8th, the school board appointed her to fill that District 4 Bayside seat vacated by the resignation of former school board member Dan Lowe. In 2010, she was re-elected. A former tennis coach at ODU, she has served as a volunteer for Virginia Beach Public Schools in the Virginia Beach community, and she's held positions at the PTSA as president, Bayside High School, and numerous PTA boards. She's served on planning council for Thorogood Elementary, Independence Middle, and Bayside High. She has served in the capacity of youth leader and Sunday school teacher. She and her husband, Billy, have 5 children, all of whom attended Virginia Beach schools. Additionally, and you may have read this recently in the pilot, Carolyn was named the 2017 Directors Community Leadership Award recipient by Norfolk Field Office at the FBI. She was selected for the honor for her dedicated work in the opioid abuse prevention and education. She was formally recognized for her work on December 14, 2017 at a special presentation in the Norfolk office. In 2018, she will join other Directors Community Leadership Award honorees from across the country to receive the award from the FBI Director, Christopher Wray, at the FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. Virginia Beach School Superintendent Dr. Ann Spence has been quoted to say that Mrs. Weems refuses to let the loss of her daughter be in vain. Instead, she's using all that she's learned through her own experience to draw attention to the need for early education around opioid addiction. And thanks to her collaboration with staff, we are now teaching children as young as first grade about the potential dangers of prescription drugs. That expanded curriculum is now being presented to the Virginia School Boards Association and the National School Boards Association for possible implementation in school divisions throughout Virginia and across the country. In addition to the Hampton Roads Heroin Working Group, Carolyn started, she has Virginia Attorney General's Office for the documentary Heroin, the Hardest Hit, and she is also working to establish her own nonprofit organization, Caitlin's Hair Low, which will be dedicated to helping addicts and their loved ones. And I'd like you to welcome both of our presenters today.
That's too formal for us.
First, I want to thank you for inviting us out this morning and give you a warning that this is not usually something that we do. We usually are given about 5 minutes where we need to say something. And so to put together a whole presentation was a new experience for me. This is not rehearsed, and if you see typos on a slide, I was probably typing it this morning. So please forgive me. So we just want to, the slides are an overview of some of the things we're looking at as a school board, more discussion, sort of jump points for us to go. I just needed a little bit of structure for this discussion. I'm also going to say that Ms. Weems and I have not rehearsed this together.
Yeah.
So you're going to get an impromptu act here today. So
That's the best kind.
yeah. So I just wanted to start off by talking about a few numbers about our school division. So as of September of last year, 67,214 students. It's easy to forget just how large of a division we are. We are third largest in the state, and with a division this size, there are a lot of moving parts, and there are a lot of needs to be filled. And we'll talk about some of those a bit later. Of that, we have 10,208 employees, and of those, 6,851 of them are instructional. These are the people that are directly interfacing with our students day to day. So not only do we have a very large commitment to serving the needs of our 67,000 plus students, but we're also a very large employer. And as a board, we have to take that responsibility very seriously as well, to ensure that we're good employers and attract and retain the best talent that we can. A little thing in there? Just going to look to you from time to time to make sure I'm not...
I'm going to speak when I...
Okay, just when the spirit moves you.
Spirit moves you.
An interesting fact to me is we have 560 DBCS buses on the road daily. This number is smaller than the booklets that was handed out, but it's directly out of today's paper. There's an article today talking about whether or not we should be parking buses on streets. And this is the number that our Transportation Director, David Pace, gave out. So I just updated it based on that. But the number that really blows me away, really I think illustrates how large of a school division we have, is that daily our buses travel over 23,000 miles. We are very large. Yeah. It's a huge responsibility that we have in DBCPS.
And just the land, like from my house, because I live in the Bayside area, to Creed's Elementary is 28 miles. Yeah. And just to say on the buses, because we brought this up, or I know I started bringing it up years and years and years ago when we started academies, about, sometimes you'll see buses with like 5 or 6 kids, and everybody's saying, why are you, wasting that? So we brought it up to our administrators again this time to look into like vans or shorter buses like daycare facilities have, so that when you make that activity run or the academy run and you only have 10 kids, that hopefully that we'll have some savings there. So I was real excited to see that they were looking into that.
Yeah, it's a lot less expensive to run white fleet vehicles for those small numbers.
Because we always get that comment, so I'm just telling you that we're working on it. Hopefully you won't see a huge yellow bus with 6 kids on it anymore.
Right. It's always great to talk about some of the accomplishments that we've been having as a school division. As you have probably heard, I hope you have heard, if not, our media communications department have not done a good job. But this year we are 100% accredited for the first time since the 2010-11 school year. And that's a big deal in that it represents a lot of growth and a lot of work that's been done. But it's really just a baseline. So anyone that understands state accreditation knows that it's based on mainly SOL scores. And the cutoff for that is a 70% pass rate for those. So it's not saying that our students are mastering everything. It's establishing this is what the state says that the baseline should be. And it took us a long time to get back to this point. And it took us a long time because the tests and standards have changed over the last 10 or so years. And everyone in the state took a pretty big hit in accreditation and pass rates. But I will tell you, looking at the data last year, I think, Virginia Beach was a standout in how quickly we gained that ground back. And it is a testament to the hard work that's being done in our schools and our classrooms to serve our students. In addition, SAT scores for the 6th consecutive year, we're outperforming the national average and scoring higher than the Hampton Roads region. ACT scores are along the same trajectory as well. Last year, we got the 2017 Virginia Index Award. This is awarded by the Governor and the Board of Education for ongoing academic excellence and growth. You may have seen that we are setting some records as far as graduation rates being high and dropout rates being low. On-time graduates are the highest they've ever been. So we're kind of neck and neck with Chesapeake. This is the one data point that Chesapeake I know has us on, and we're going to be working hard to overcome that. Not that, you know, we compare ourselves to Chesapeake or our fighting against them. So this is a chart that I love. So in addition to preparing students for college, we take the role of preparing students for the workplace very seriously. And Virginia Beach is leading the state in the number of industry credentials earned by our students. And so from 2002 to last year, 2017, our students have earned over 78,000 industry credentials. Last year, over 10,011. And you can see that there's been significant growth over time. Now I'm going to point out, because someone's going to ask, why did this go down? It's because one of the tests that we administer to juniors in high school, the CWRA, the Career Workplace and Readiness Assessment that is attached to your credential, we moved that test to senior year, which means last year's seniors had already taken it their junior year, so those numbers aren't included. So I expect 2017's bar to be even higher. And I didn't include, I mean, there's a lot of charts on this I could talk about, but our students earn typically more than one credential. You're looking at students that are earning 2, 3, we have students that earn 9, 10 credentials in their high school careers. It's amazing. It's one of we spend a lot of time and energy and resources getting this done. We really believe in providing multiple pathways for our students, not only into college, but also into the workplace and into the military.
And we have, if y'all aren't familiar with it, this is opportunities for students at the ATC, Advanced Technology, within their schools, and then also we have what most of us, since we're at my age, call the old VBTA building, which is now Career and Technical Education, but over there on North Landing Road. And I know when I got elected in 2002, my big thing was the VBTA. Because I had, you know, with my 5 children, I had one that was gifted, one special ed, 2 kind of average, and then I had one that I knew was going to go into VBTA, and he did go to that building. He went to Bayside High School, then he went there for actually landscaping, maintenance of like golf courses and baseball fields and stuff like that. So it's great programs, and we have just, I'm so excited that we just keep going, you know, because because even with, you know, under my household, 3 went to college and 2 didn't, so we need to make sure. And I know Beverly and I have this thing that we're going to go after. Hopefully I'll be on the board for 4 more years, but we would love to see a full high school, technical and career high school, because, you know, my son went to Bayside, didn't even have to get on a bus. The travel down time was 30 minutes all the way down there, 30 minutes back, so by the time you get your equipment out and everything, you're so limited. So I know up north they have this all over the place where you have your 12th high school, and you have your own band, your own football program, your own, you know, student government, and everybody there is working on a skill so that they can enter the workforce. Or they have options, you don't have to, obviously. So that's what I would love to see happen. But of course, that costs money. But we're going to figure out how to do it, right?
Absolutely. The other thing I love about this graph is that I'm young enough to be included in the 702 students over here. As you heard in the introduction, I did go to the ATC. Actually, I started out at the VBTA Center, so I made that bus ride from Bayside to VBTA. Halfway through the year, we moved into the new Advanced Technology Center, where I was in the Cisco program. So to go from 702 in my graduation year to 10,621 is phenomenal growth and opportunity for our students. In addition, all of our high schools were among the Washington Post's America's Most Challenging High Schools. We are the only Hampton Roads School Division to have all of our high schools on that list. Recently, we have been named as one of the nation's best digital school districts by the Center for Digital Education. This is directly connected to our efforts for our digital anchor schools and our one-to-one program that we continue to grow. There's a lot more things to talk about that's happening in Virginia Beach City Public Schools. That's great. But the thing that sort of fuels the direction of our work is our strategic plan. And hopefully you've heard a bit about our strategic plan. We have tried to talk about this a lot in our board meetings, try to get public input. We're starting The next phase of our strategic plan already, we've already had sort of our intro briefing on that process, and so hopefully we'll keep the compass designs and everything, because a lot of work has already gone into that. Hopefully it's going to be compass 20 to 25, but that's not up to me, that's up to the strategic plan committee. But one of the things I'm going to encourage you to do is go to the Compass of 2020 website that really lays out what our strategic plan is, what we are doing, and how we are doing. There's a lot of data on that website. To sort of give you a brief overview of the strategic plan goals. 4 goals: high academic expectations, multiple pathways, which is something I was just talking about when we were talking about credentials for our students, social emotional development, and culture of growth and excellence. So really all of the work that we do is supposed to fit within these goals. And when you listen to a school board meeting or attend a school board meeting, you'll hear administration, when they make recommendations, tie those recommendations to these goals and have a conversation about how that moves us forward in our strategic plan. I talked about the data that's available on that website. So this gets updated pretty much as soon as that data is available for any one of these areas. Underneath each one of those goals, there are essentially key performance indicators, anyone in business, KPIs, that talk about what we're doing to get there. So percentage of students on reading on grade level, percentage reporting growth in areas of literacy, percentage of students enrolled in rigorous coursework, and you can break that down by different student groups and look at each one of those goals to get a feel for how we are doing as a school division in meeting the goals of our strategic plan. So I encourage you to do that. It's vbschools.com/compass/2020. You probably can get there just by /compass as well, but there is a link on the homepage to get there. And I encourage you to go and check it out. But it takes focus in some key areas to achieve some of the successes that we've had. I didn't join the school board at a time where the school system was doing horribly. We have a long history in BBCPS of doing well. Carolyn's been a part of that since 2002. In fact, I should thank her. She was on the board when I was in high school, and made sure to provide me those opportunities.
Sure, thanks for reminding
so thank you for your work at that time.
Yeah, I've been on there since 2002, and I'm relatively sane.
So
Some days.
yeah. But when one of the biggest decisions the school board can make is to hire a superintendent, and as you know, I guess going on 5 years now, 4 or 5 years.
4.
Yeah, we had to hire a new superintendent, and one of the things that we sort of look for in that process is what's the next step? What is this person? At least to me, you can talk about what you thought. What's the next step? How do we go from doing well to doing even better? We always said that we're doing well, but we can always do better. Well, what exactly is that? And so some of those conversations we had during that hiring process, and after we hired Dr. Spence, he came in and really looked at the division and focused in on an area that I think is very important and something that is being talked about a lot in our division. And so one of the things that he talked about in his entry plan was to look at this map. And you should recognize it. It's Virginia Beach, our beautiful city. And what the red represents is the concentration of students reducing free or reduced lunch. And essentially, for a lot of metric purposes, free reduced lunch is what we use when we say these are the students that are most in need or most at risk and need additional resources. But the other thing that he did is he overlaid on top and he said, schools accredited with warning, the green dots are elementary schools accredited with warning, the yellow dots are middle schools accredited with warning, and the orange dots are high schools accredited with warning. And if you can see it, you'll see that the dots are either within those high concentrations or right next to them. And the point that he made, he goes, this is our opportunity. What can we do to meet the needs of those students in those schools that are accredited with warning to reach 100% accreditation? And a lot of work and a lot of focus went into that, and the thing that comes out of that is the conversation and focus on equity. You'll hear this word a lot in school board meetings because it's a significant focus. So what is equity and what isn't equity? is important to talk about. Equity is not equality. So in this depiction, we've got what I'm going to say is 3 students.